What is up, YouTube? I'm back again with yet another video. Today I'm going to be talking about the NREMT. What is the NREMT? It is the National Registry for Emergency Medical Technicians. Basically, that's your national exam that gets you nationally certified. Now, there are a few states that are not that do not accept NREMT. Like, you don't have to take it, but pretty much all of them are. And this is a test that actually makes you an EMT. So just taking a class and graduating from that doesn't actually make you an EMT. So let's say you just got done with you graduated from your class, whether it was a 2-week one or mine was about 6 months. You're gonna take this exam. It's, for me, I took my EMT class at a tech school, and they said that the first try was covered in the tuition, but I still had to pay for it anyways. So I think that was just the tech school getting extra money, I think. From what I can remember, my tuition was like $3,000. And then after you buy the textbook, the uniforms, if your school has uniforms, and other supplies like EMT shears, we're also supposed to buy medical glasses that we never even used, stethoscope that we used once, and it was encouraged that you buy a BP cuff, but I never did. After all that, it was about $4,000, and so that was what the tech school costed me. My parents, but so you get through that, and then graduating from an EMT class allows you to take the NREMT, and the NREMT will give you a minimum of 70 questions and typically a maximum of 120. Now, I've heard it going all the way up to 150, 160. From what I understand, if it hits 160, then you probably didn't pass. It's just that it's throwing so many questions at you that it's trying to gauge your competency. That's basically what this test does. And it is a computer adaptive test, or a CAT test, and it's computer based, or CBT is what other people call it. What that means, a CAT test, is that it's always changing based on how you answered your previous question. So it'll start off question 1, kind of like in the medium range, and then let's say you get your first 5 wrong, then it's going to start to give you easier ones. And then if you get those right, then it'll start to give you harder ones. Or if you get those right off the bat, then I'll start giving you harder ones, and then a mixture. This is as of 2019, of course. And like I said, I had to take it 3 times, and it shut off after 70 questions all 3 times. So the first time, it was a little nerve-wracking. Well, all 3 times it was nerve-wracking, but I remember sitting in my car afterwards, and I'm like, I probably failed. And I did. And then the second time it did that too. And you can take it up to 6 times, but after your 3rd time, assuming you fail that one, you have to do a 24-hour remedial training. So my volley department that I'm with, at the time when I signed up for this tech school, they said that they weren't going to do an EMT class. So I went through the tech school, but they actually just started one back in August or September. And they're only charging those people the cost of the book, and the department people, if you pass that, then they won't charge you at all. So kind of would have liked to know that before going into it. Otherwise, I just would have waited the year, I guess. But whatever. It would have saved my parents like $3,500. But whatever. That's cool. So I know I'm jumping around here. I'm trying to get back on track to the test itself. So it shut off, like I said, after all 70 questions, all 3 times. So on this 3rd time, I used emtprep.com, and this video is not sponsored by them, but I think I got the 2-month option. It was like the $60 one, so whichever one that was. And guys, if you're an EMT, let's say you just started your class, or maybe you're halfway through your class, I highly, highly, highly recommend that you pay however much it costs to have that and use it during the duration of your entire class time. However, let's say you just started your class, get that. Or if you're halfway through, still get it. Or maybe you're like me and you had trouble with the NREMT, pay. I know it's like $40 for just a month, but it'll give you algorithms. So it's just like the National Registry, except at the end of your practice test, it'll give you algorithms based off of what you weren't so good at or what you're better at. Specific questions, it'll let you go back and see them, and percents too, which the NREMT doesn't really do that. It'll never give you an exact number of what you got right or wrong. If you get it wrong, it'll just tell you the areas that you weren't so good in, and if you pass, then it'll just say congratulations on obtaining your national registry, something like that. So it doesn't even, so if you pass, it just tells you that you passed. You never get a score, and that's what bugs me the most about the NREMT. If you take it, so it usually takes like a day or two to get your results back, but for where I am, if you take it in the morning, you'll get your results back that same day. So I took all mine in the morning, just because I wanted to know. But on this 3rd attempt, like, I really did not want to do the 24-hour remedial training. You'll have to look into your local areas if you do have to do that. I checked in with my VFD, and with their EMT class running, they said that assuming I fail this 3rd time, that I could sit in their EMT classes, and that would considered be 24-hour remedial training, and of course I wouldn't have to pay that. So that was nice, but obviously I didn't have to do that. So I used EMT Prep, and I studied and I studied and I studied, and I pretty much only used them. I mean, I'd highly recommend you actually go over your book, but I used a lot of them, and I took it, and it shut off after 70 questions on the 3rd time, and I was like, what the heck? I couldn't believe that it just did that. I just assumed that I failed, and of course that same day, my dad volunteered me and my brother to go help one of his older coworkers move. So the entire day, I was just moving and mostly thinking about this test, and I didn't get home till about 5 o'clock, and I checked my computer, and I passed. So just because it shuts off after 70 questions, it doesn't mean that you failed. So if it does do that, so remember, the NREMT is testing your competency as an EMT and your critical thinking. So for it to shut off after 70 questions, you basically have to score in that 80 to 90 percentile range. So for it to shut off after 70 questions and you passed, that's kind of a compliment to the test taker, I think. And if it shut off after 70 questions and you failed, then that means you actually did really bad. So it'll test you, it gives you the 70 questions, and based on how you did those previous ones, the 70, or the ones before you hit 70, it either shut it off and it said that this person is so bad that there's no way that any other questions could help them pass, or it shuts off saying this person did so good that I don't need to test them anymore. So I think that was the third time was the only time that I used EMTprep.com, and I highly recommend you try that. And it does have stuff for EMRs, EMTBs, advanced EMTs, and of course paramedics. So if you're in one of those, then definitely check that out too. So I guess that's kind of my whole experience with the NREMT. If you guys have any questions about it, just go and let me know. It is timed. I think it gives you like 2 hours. All the EMTs I've ever talked to and paramedics, they've never had a problem. They've never heard of anyone who actually ran out of time. It either shut off the test before they ran out of time. So don't worry about the time. Read each question thoroughly. Some people say read the answers first and then read the question. I tried that a few times and it didn't really seem to click for me, but maybe you might have to do that. So basically it'll give you it's multiple choice, so it'll give you the question and 4 possible answers. 2 of them is going to be, one is going to be off the wall and wrong, and 1 is going to be mostly wrong, but they might have some true things in there. And then there's going to be 2 that are 100% correct, but 1 is going to be more correct than the other. Yeah. So for an example, this is one that I actually had. You have a man covered in kerosene, drenched in it, and he starts to complain of difficulty of breathing. So you start thinking, okay, you should treat things as your ABCs, airway, breathing, circulation. So remember that. So option 1, administer oxygen. Option 2, take his clothes off. Option 3, dilute him with water. Or option 4, begin CPR. Which one would you pick? So I'll give you guys some time to think about it. So option 4, begin CPR. Well, he's complaining of difficulty breathing, so he has a pulse. You should never do CPR on a conscious person, so you can throw that one. That's your off the wall, this is 100% wrong, like what are you even thinking? Throw that one out of there. So now you have 3. You could administer oxygen. Well, you should make sure that they're airway, breathing, circulation. That's how you should treat things. Or there was dilute him with water, because he is covered in it and that stuff can irritate your skin. Or the second option was take his clothes off. Now, the way that I thought of this is think of him as a hypothermic patient that fell through the ice. You should take their clothes off, remove them from that cold environment. So in this situation, you would want to remove them from that environment. So take his clothes off would be the correct answer. That's actually one that I had. So it's questions like that. But anyways, guys, I think that's going to wrap up for this video. If you guys have any questions about it, who knows, I might do a part 2. I'll leave a link to that EMTprep.com. If you guys have any questions, just go and let me know. And as always, have a nice day.